In this video, I'm going to be painting up two kits, the ATST Walker and General Veers. This version of the ATST Walker is the most recent one in July 2023, and it allows you to play it either as Chewbacca or one of the Imperial Walkers. This is one of my favorite Imperial vehicles, 2 legs and 1-ton destruction. And I'm also going to paint up General Veers. Why General Veers? Well, he is a Walker pilot, as you can see in the picture here, so why not work on him together? Here is what the good General looks like, all built up. And I'm going to show you all the cards that come in General Veers' box. Those are the 3 upgrade cards, and this is his unit card. And here are the 3 command cards that come with him. Time to unbox the new ATST Walker that was just released in 2023. You'll get a pack of sprues like this. There is an instruction booklet with a QR code, and a nice poster of Chewie in the back. The smaller pack contains all your tokens, and also it has these cards. This is the ATST Walker unit card, both sides, and then you also have one for Chewbacca, which allows you to play this on the Rebel side. Pretty cool. The box also gives you multiple upgrade cards. Take a look at them here. Next, let's take a look at the plastic. Starting out with the base, it is already full of features, so you don't have to do much with it. Here is Chewbacca and General Weiss, and all the rest of the sprues that make up the Walker. There are quite a few pieces in this kit, so I recommend downloading the instructions using the QR code. Here are what the instructions look like. You'll want to follow this closely. I won't go through the step-by-step on how to build this model. You'll want to follow it closely though. Just go frame after frame, make sure you don't miss anything. There are certain frames that tell you what you have to put on before the next one. Now, one thing I did do is that even though this kit came with multiple weapons, I just went ahead and placed it all on the model. Because in Star Wars Legion, it's more important to know what cards come with the model instead of exactly what you see is what you get. What I will do is magnetize the pilots. What I'm going to use is a 10 by 2mm magnet like this, and use some super glue, put it in this cavity here, drop the magnet in, and use a non-ferrous object such as a toothpick to push it in place. For the base of General Weiss and Chewbacca, I'm going to be using these flat sheets of steel, which I will show you where to get on the upper right hand corner of the screen. I use sheet metal shears to cut these up into a size that's just under the size of the base. Then I use super glue and attach them on to both General Weiss as well as Chewbacca. Once the glue dries, it's time to try them out. You can put either of these models into the Walker and they will just stay in place like this. Now that everything is built, it's time to start painting. I'll be priming these models differently. For the Walker, General Veers, and General Weiss, I'll be painting them with black primer. And for Chewbacca, I'll be using white primer, and you'll see why a little bit later on. Here, I'm priming my models with an airbrush, but you can easily do this with an aerosol can as well. So it's black on the first 3 models, and then after that I switch to white and apply that onto Chewie. Next, I'm going to zenithal highlight my first 3 models with gray. So this is gray primer. You can also use gray paint. And then you'll want to apply it onto all 3 models, General Veers, General Weiss, and the Walker from a 45-degree angle all the way around. This allows you to have a brighter surface that looks gray, and then the shadowed surfaces will look black. To make these 3 models a little bit more vibrant, I'm going to be painting them with a highlight of ash gray mixed 50-50 with flow improver. This can also be done with a light gray aerosol can if you want, and then just lightly apply it onto the raised areas. As you can see, it really makes the models pop a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and do this with General Weiss, and then after I'm done with this guy, I move to the Walker. Now on the Walker, I tend to want to put this on the most raised surfaces, the ones that are closest to the light source, which is usually the top of the model, and also large obvious surfaces like the big armor panels on the body. Next, I'm going to be using strong tone wash, and I apply this straight up into my airbrush. I'm going to use my airbrush and trace it around all the seams. This actually creates a very convincing and easy weathering effect. Makes it look a little bit like rust and look like wear, and it makes the model look like it's been out in the field. Now the model looks a little bit flat, so I'm going to be using some ash gray and a dry makeup brush. I apply some of the ash gray onto the bristles and then brush most of it off on a towel paper. Next, I dry brush the model, focusing more on the top surfaces and brushing downwards. This creates very convincing highlights, easy highlights on the model so that it pops a little bit more on the tabletop and makes the model look really good. Now, this model is honestly really simple to paint. If you've noticed, I've put nothing but gray, gray, and more gray on it. So, the extra step of doing this dry brushing really didn't take up much time, and it really gives it a nice finished touch. Next, I use dark tone wash on the base. The base already has a lot of features on it. You don't have to do anything else besides this wash. This will make the base a little bit darker and put all the attention on the awesome walker that's on top of it. Time to work on the little figures. I'm going to use matte white and paint it on the areas where I'm going to put skin tone later on. So for General Veers and General Wise, it's going to be their faces. While I wait for the white to dry, I apply runic gray, which is a bluish gray, onto the breastplate and the helmet of General Veers. If you look at any of his pictures, you'll notice that these are bluish. And I also put this on General Wise's helmet, just to kind of match what General Veers has. Next, I switch to Grim Black Speed Paint and I apply this onto General Veers' boots and also his holster, his pistol, and his gloves. I also apply this black onto his goggles. I do the same thing for General Wise since he has the same uniform. I apply it onto his goggles, his gloves, his binoculars, and also onto his belt. Next, I use Crusader Skin Speed Paint and I apply it onto the white face areas that I had laid down earlier. This color works best on a pure white background. For the Imperial insignia on the left breast, I use pure red and electric blue, and with a small brush, I apply the red onto the top rank and blue to the bottom one. I also use this electric blue on the goggles of both generals. Next, I use some dark tone wash and I carefully apply it onto all the creases on both General Veers and General Wise. This allows those creases to pop a little bit and make the models look more 3D. Onward to Chewbacca. This guy is really simple. Use hardened leather speed paint and just solve it all over him. Just be careful not to apply it onto his satchel or his bandolier. You want to leave those white. Next, switch to Grim Black Speed Paint and apply it onto, the bandolier and the satchel. While I'm at it, I apply some Grim Black to the front windows of the walker as well. To clean things up a little bit on General Wise as well as Chewbacca, I paint the top of their hex bases with some of this Grim Black Speed Paint. Time to paint some eyes. Use matte white and a detailing brush and apply the white into the eye sockets of Chewbacca, General Wise, and General Veers. For the pupils, use matte black acrylic paint and with the same detailing brush, apply pupils onto Chewbacca. He has pretty big pupils, so a brush will do fine here. For the humans, use the sharp end of a toothpick, dip it into some black, and then just dot the pupils. Next, let's apply some accents onto Chewbacca with some skeletal bone acrylic paint. You'll want to apply this onto all his claws and also onto his teeth. Next, we're going to clean up the rims of the bases using some black primer. Put it on with a brush and just brush the rims all the way around. You may have to apply 1 to 2 coats to make it nice and even. To make General Veers look like he's standing in snow, I'm going to be using this white sand that I got from the dollar store. And with some white glue, I apply it with an old brush onto the top of General Veers' base. And then after that, I just dunk his entire base into this white sand. It'll stick in place and it'll look like pretty convincing snow. Spray on 2 coats of matte varnish and you're all set. Here is General Veers rotated 360 degrees around, ready to bring the Emperor's justice onto the rebel scum of the galaxy. And here is the completed AT-ST Walker, fully configurable as either an Imperial Walker by putting General Weiss in its hatch, or you can switch it around and put Chewbacca in there, ready to take down the evil Empire on the forest moon of Endor. If you are curious, the AT-ST stands this tall against some of my Warhammer models. It is basically almost as tall as Mr. Techless over here. It is a large, awesome model that is fun to build and even more fun to paint. I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Till then, happy hobbying.